It is 1:20 in the morning on July 1st, which means it is officially day one of July CampNaNo 2022. For me, this is a pretty bad time for a NaNoWRIMO event for several reasons. But one of them is because I have a new issue with my chronic pain and chronic illnesses, and I'll go ahead and see if I can show you that. So normally your knuckles are like this, they're pretty flat across, but this one here, you can kind of see that bump at the end. That's a random hard lump that has formed on my knuckle since Monday, and it makes it very hard to do anything that involves my hand. And unfortunately, that is my right hand. It's my dominant hand. I use it the most, and of course I use it for typing and taking notes and so on and so forth. So it does drastically affect my ability to accomplish anything, in addition to all of the other symptoms that affect my ability to accomplish anything, but we're going to see what we can do this year. I will say in advance that I have been planning to start a book for July. I am going to do that. I don't know how far I'll get. I don't know what kind of word goal I'm setting for the month. I don't know any of that. If you've been around for a while, you know my relationship with writing is very, very complicated. I used to write over 100,000 words a month, and now I write about 10,000 words a month, if even. But with that being said, we're gonna see what happens. I do not have a ton of space on my memory cards. I have so many videos that I need to edit, so many videos that I am behind in, and they are all taking up space on the 3 memory cards that I have. I have 9 minutes left to record in its entirety on this SD card, so we're gonna make things work as best as I can. The book that I'm starting is a Little Mermaid retelling, focusing on a romance set in Alaska with gold dredging. That's where the ocean aspect comes in, and I'm pretty excited to get into that. I don't know how far it will go. I don't know if it's something I'll finish. I don't know if it's something I'll accomplish even a full chapter on, but it is something that I am excited about, and where I am with my writing right now, that's about all that I can ask for. So I'm going to get my notebook from over here where I took notes on some gold dredging stuff. I know a lot about it. I just only started taking notes when I knew that I was going to work on this book. And then I'm going to get my tablet and my keyboard, and I'm going to see if I can accomplish anything. I do have a blood lab in the afternoon, so I don't really need to go to bed any earlier than I normally do. Actually, the later I go to bed, the better, because I'll wake up later and I won't have to worry about being hungry, because I'm not going to be able to eat until sometime after 2:30, which is when my labs are. So we're gonna see what happens, and I will give you guys an update, hopefully before I go to bed. So see you soon. So it is currently 2:21 in the morning, and I'm gonna go ahead and stop here and close up all my stuff, brush my teeth, and head to bed. I'm not tired, but I do want to make sure that I have enough time to wake up, take my levothyroxine, put Willie and Weston outside, give them both their medications, and feed Wes, because Weston, if you're new here, takes a lot more time to feed than a normal dog. He has megaesophagus, he eats in a chair, so he takes his meds, sits in the chair for 15 minutes, has out of the chair time for 30 minutes, eats, and then sits in the chair for another 30 minutes. So I have to dedicate about an hour and a half there before we leave the house, to make sure that he's fed and stuff before we leave. So I'm going to get ready for bed, see what happens. But so far I've written 450 words in the book. Currently I'm calling it the Amber Mermaid. We'll see what happens with that. The Little Mermaid is one of the harder titles to try and play with the name of, because it doesn't have any like names in it that you can play with. Like Beauty and the Beast, you could change Beauty or Beast, stuff like that. But currently calling it the Amber Mermaid. We'll see where we go with that. I'm 450 words into the first chapter. I like the setup so far. I like the male character so far, and we'll see how things go later on in the day or tomorrow or whenever I get to it again. I haven't written every single day since April, so we'll see how July goes. We'll see how writing every day goes, and we'll see if I can make big progress in any books this month. And I hope you'll stick along for the journey. Hopefully I will see you again in this video with another update for today, but we'll see and we'll go from there. But that's all I have for now. I'm going to get ready for bed, and again, hopefully I'll see you later. So while I've got the idea in my brain, I figured I'd go ahead and give you an update. It is actually currently July 6th, but I'm going to go ahead and give you an update on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and then that will be the end of the first video for July here. Primarily I've been working on the Little Mermaid retelling. I've also written one blog post, and that has gone into my Nano account as well. I don't have my July CampNaNo page started yet. I normally, as of late, have been waiting until the very last day to start that. Mostly because that's just my prerogative nowadays. But I do keep track of stuff on note cards or in one of my notebooks, and then I just keep you guys updated when I can. During the weekends, I typically don't film a lot because my mom is home, and I feel really, really awkward filming when other people are awake. Right now it's 2:30 in the morning, so my mom is asleep. But with the Little Mermaid retelling, I'm not super far into it. At the moment, I am still working on chapter 1, and I have also written like the very beginning of a scene that will probably happen later on in the book. But then I got an idea to continue the first chapter, so I moved back to there. But with that being said, on day 1, I believe I gave you a total count that was 450 words. I did not write anything else on that day. On July 2nd, I wrote 324 words, which brought my total for the first 2 days to 774. On the 3rd, I wrote 250 words, which brought my total to 1,024. On the 4th, I wrote 200 words, which brought my total to 1,224. On the 4th, I had hoped to write more. I had hoped to sit down and do some writing while the cake I was planning on making for the dogs. The 4th was Willie's birthday and Kimmy's first gotcha day. Sorry. Get you some light back here. But it ended up being so hot outside and in the house that I couldn't risk turning the oven on for fear of it making the house even hotter and making things even worse for the dogs and Tink, my chinchilla. And to make matters worse, on the 4th... Oops, sorry, baby. I didn't mean to spook ya. To make matters worse, on the 4th, Weston had a serious regurgitation episode, but the heat and the humidity drastically affects most dogs with megaesophagus, and that meant he was regurgitating most of the day. He regurgitated, I think, 12 to 14 times in the morning, and then he was sick and lethargic and having trouble breathing most of the day. I was worried I'd have to take him in today to the vet because he most likely had aspiration pneumonia, was my fear, but he did a lot better on the 5th, and he's doing great today. He's just over here sleeping. Well, he was, until I pointed the camera at him, and then he glared at me inside. But that was pretty stressful on the 4th, and I was cleaning up regurgitation like left and right, and trying to keep him sitting in his chair, and trying to keep him cool, and trying to eventually get him to eat, and dissolving his meds so I could still give them to those even though he wouldn't eat, so on and so forth. And so I just unfortunately didn't really have much time to do anything on the 4th, and that is what it is. That's just kind of how it goes sometimes. On the 5th, I wrote a blog post for my writing website, and that was 404 words. And if we're talking total nano count, that brought me up to 1,628 words. And so 1,628 is where I would be for the first 5 days of Nano here. As it stands, that's all I have for this video for you. I'll start with July 6th in the next video, and we'll go from there. At this point in time, I still have at least 1, if not 2 or 3 April CampNaNo videos to upload. I still need to edit 2 of them, I think. But with the heat wave that's coming in, the power is pretty unpredictable. We lose power a couple times a day, which means that if I'm editing on the PlayStation, I risk losing all of my PlayStation data and corrupting everything. And if I'm editing back on the computer, which is where I add like my intro and my outro and the music that underlies the video here, if I'm editing there, and again, I lose power, I lose all the work that I've done. It doesn't corrupt anything, which is nice, but I still have to do the majority of the editing on the PlayStation. And so that also sets me back. We've lost power at least once for the past 2 days. As in, we lost it at least once on the 4th, and we lost it at least once on the 5th. And until the heat wave goes away, I expect that to be the case. It's pretty much the case every single year. The power flickers off, usually for only a couple seconds, sometimes longer. The one yesterday was like almost 2 minutes of darkness, I think, once it was already nighttime. But we'll see how things go. I have to edit all of those videos before you'll see these videos, so hopefully you'll see the July videos before the end of July, but we'll see. I am planning on potentially getting a little bit more something to drink, doing a little bit more writing here on the 6th, and then probably turning in for bed, but we'll see how things go, and I will see you on the 6th in another video. But with that being said, that's all I have for this one. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I will see you soon. Bye for now.